What is going on, everybody? It is Luke Beller, and today I wanted to cover something regarding the Packers, sort of the biggest obstacle that I think they're facing in this upcoming offseason. So I'm going to sort of break that down in today's video. But if you guys are new to the channel, I put up Packers news, breakdowns, all that kind of stuff 5 to 6 times a week. So you want to see that, make sure you guys subscribe and turn on those post notifications. So taking a look at this Packers team coming into this offseason, the challenge or obstacle I'm sort of talking about is the salary cap and sort of the fact that right now we are sitting over, the expected number, which obviously, the Packers have to make some cuts and do some different kinds of things to allow this team to function, I guess you could say. So right here, as you guys can see, this is like the salary cap numbers. It's an estimate from overthecap.com. And you can sort of see different teams. Effective cap space means, how much cap space teams basically have remaining or how much over the cap space they are. And right here, it's ranked from teams who are basically over the cap space. So the Saints right now are $101 million over the cap space, which is pretty crazy. And I think they're going off a $176 million salary cap. It's not really exactly decided yet. I think it'll be decided in early March, and so who knows, that could be 176, 175, maybe it's in like the 180s. I've seen some people say it could be a little higher. But right now, when you take a look at the Packers, right now we're estimated at about $32 million over the salary cap. So probably, what are we, 1, 2, 3, 4, probably the 5th worst team when it comes to the salary cap number, whereas teams like the Jaguars have like $73 million in cap space, the Colts, the Jets. So those teams have a lot of cap space that could come in and sign some big free agents. So the Packers, we are over the cap space, and so we definitely need to figure that problem out. And I actually came across this one article that really breaks it down super well. I was going to do my own video on this, sort of break it down, but this article just does such a great job that I sort of wanted to go through it and sort of give my thoughts on it. So it's over here at PackersWire.com, or Packers Wire, which most of you guys probably know of. And so one cool thing in this article, a guy named Ken Ingalls, he's a CPA who studies the salary cap. He sort of breaks down sort of position by position and sort of what the Packers need to do. It's not the technical stuff, and as I've said before, I'm not a salary cap expert, and it seems that this guy is. So I sort of want to read through his thoughts because I think it gives lots of good information for us Packers fans. So first off, starting off with the quarterback, we got Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love under contract and free agent. Tim Boyle will be a restricted free agent. So Ken's cap perspective right here. So Aaron Rodgers' contract is the most expensive on the roster at $37.2 million cap hit, but offers by far the most salary cap flexibility of any player on the roster, with the ability to free up to between $13 to $16 million via restructuring his base salary and roster bonus into his signing bonus. So apparently, I guess we can restructure different kinds of contracts, which will basically allow the numbers to sort of be pushed to future years. And so right now, because the Packers, want to get the most out of Aaron Rodgers and sort of win now, as you can see from this article, Gutekunst says, Packers are prepared to borrow from the future salary caps to stay in a win now mode. Gutekunst sort of said that recently. Then it says the question is, how much will the Packers want to hamstring their ability to move on from Rodgers post 2021, since every cap dollar saved is another financial hurdle for the future. So yeah, the more that we push these contracts into the future, yes, it'll help us in 2021, but at the same time, we're sort of hurting ourselves, coming into the future. So the question is, do the Packers want to push everything to the future and sort of go all in right now? Or who knows, maybe they'll sort of be more balanced, decide to move some contracts in the future, keep some sort of how they are. I'm guessing that's what they'll do, because I don't want to, of course we want to see the Packers win the Super Bowl in the coming years, but at the expense of being terrible for years and years to come, maybe we can find a more balanced approach where maybe we can, make the Super Bowl while also, sort of keeping ourselves alive in the future when Aaron Rodgers does decide to go wherever he ends up going in the future, whether he retires, goes to another team in like the next 5 to 10 years. Who knows what's going to happen? And then basically goes on to say Jordan's Love contract is guaranteed. And then basically Tim Boyle, it's possible he doesn't return. So it says unless he comes back on a minimum salary, I do not see him returning. So maybe he won't return. Maybe the Packers will pick up another quarterback, for the practice squad. So now moving to the running back position, we all know Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams will be free agents. And the question is, will they sign Aaron Jones? I personally don't see them signing him just because he's going to cost so much money. I don't think the Packers will do it, but you never know what could happen. Crazier things have happened. So let's see his thoughts here. Okay, yeah, so A.J. Dillon, Patrick Taylor, Dexter Williams, Mike Weber. You can see all the guys who are under contract. And then Ken's cap perspective. A.J. Dillon was drafted in 2020 to hedge against both Jones and Williams, leaving via free agency in 2021. I don't see a way Jones returns. Perhaps Williams basically does. Either way, it looks like the starting jobs is Dillon's to lose. The contracts of the current running back room are all very cheap, and I suspect will stay that way, with no real meaningful cap space can be found by tweaking these deals. And so yeah, just sort of as I was saying, I don't see Aaron Jones coming back just because it'll cost too much. We drafted A.J. Dillon in the second round. So it's likely that he is the future of the running back position. The question is, will we bring back Jamal Williams because he'll cost less? It's very possible. So that's the running back position. Now to our wide receivers. We got Devontae under contract, Marcus Valdes-Scantling, Equanimous. You can see all that right there. And then Alan Zard, exclusive rights free agent. Tavon Austin, I feel like he won't come back, but you never know. So all that's there. So Devontae Adams has a 4th highest cap hit on the roster with $16.8 million in 2021 and is in a prime position to be extended by the Packers this offseason, which could lower his cap by an estimated $4 to $6 million depending on structure. So I guess if we decide to sign him, sooner rather than later, we're able basically to move his, salary cap hit into the future. And then lots of people have had questions about Devin Funchess in my comments recently. So here's a little bit on him. Devin Funchess returns from his COVID opt-out season with his $2.3 million deal. The Packers could save $1.3 million if they let him go. So honestly, I've been a little bit confused on Devin Funchess. I don't know if I have a complete answer yet. So I'm not sure if because he opted out of the season, it sort of like made his contract void that year, and it sort of, applies to 2021 instead. Honestly, I'm not sure, so don't take my word for it. Hopefully, I get some clarity soon. If any of you guys know exactly what's going on with him, drop it in the comments below, because honestly, lots of you guys, know a lot as well, so drop those down in the comments below. And then MVS earned a rookie performance escalator by playing a significant number of snaps in his first 3 seasons, and he gets a raise of up to $2.2 million base salary in the final year. That's a nice little raise, a nice little $2.2 million raise. I honestly didn't know that, so I guess because he hit some certain performance levels, he gets a big raise, which I guess is, it's warranted. Then Alan Lazard should be back on a cheap $850K, just a cheap $850K, nothing much. Exclusive rights free agent deal, and Malik Taylor could similarly be back as well. The entire 2020 wide receiver core should be returning for training camp, but this position group needs an infusion of young talent since there isn't a returning receiver under contract beyond this 2021 season. Yeah, and that's one thing I was talking about in the video a couple days ago. So we're just talking about how the Packers don't have anyone signed, beyond 2021. And so I was thinking maybe the middle rounds of the draft, they come in, draft a wide receiver, a young wide receiver. Also, maybe they come in, sign a free agent wide receiver in this season. Who knows what's going to happen with that. So that's the wide receiver position. Now to our tight ends. So Robert Tonyan, restricted free agent. I feel like they'll bring him back. Then you can see all these other guys who are under contract. DeGuara was injured, but hopefully, he'll be back and good, all that kind of stuff. So here we go. The current tight end group is made up of a bunch of guys on a cheap rookie deals. No big cap savings are going to be found in this group. Okay, so that, we can't really find savings there. I predict the Packers want Tonyan to return and will place a second-round tender on him, which equates to a 1-year deal of $3.4 million. This gives the Packers a bit of insurance if another team tries to sign Tonyan to a long-term deal. And if the Packers decline to match the offer, they will receive a second-round draft pick as compensation for losing Tonyan. I can also see the Packers avoiding the restricted free agent tender system and negotiating a long-term deal outright, which could prove to be a cheaper in 2021. But it does seem that Tonyan will be back. I hope he's back. I love watching Tonyan. So now moving to our O-line. David Bakhtiari, unfortunately, he's been down. That's very, very sad. Hopefully he'll be back soon. David, we wish you nothing but the best. And, one of the bigger free agents, we know Corey Linsley is going to be a free agent this upcoming offseason. Personally, I don't see him coming back just because we have so much depth on the offensive line. And he's going to, get a pretty big contract wherever he does end up going. But here we can see David Bakhtiari got paid. He got paid a truckload of money. Facts. With his record-breaking extension in 2020 and carries a $19.3 million salary cap hit. It's a big hit, but he's definitely worth it. The 3rd highest on the team. The Packers will convert part of his $11 million roster bonus into a signing bonus, freeing up $8 to $8.9 million of cap space. So that's pretty cool. We're saving a good $8 to $8.9 million of cap space. Honestly, all this cap stuff, there's so much going on here, but it's nice to have people who understand it like this guy can right here, so it's pretty sweet. Billy Turner brings a 7th highest cap hit on the roster at $8.4 million. A restructure could save 2 to 3, basically. Rick Wagner played well for the Packers, but is very vulnerable to be cut, freeing up $4.25 million. So I've seen lots of other people also say Rick Wagner could be cut just because $4 million savings, maybe. But now with Bakhtiari gone, maybe we don't. We bring him back. Who knows? Then Lucas Patrick being cut could save almost $2 million. I see him sticking around. The rest of the guys along the line are cheap rookie deals without much cap savings to be had. So that's pretty good information on the O-line, David Bakhtiari, with the biggest cap hit for that line. So now moving to the defensive side of the ball, we got the defensive line. So you can see right here who's under contract and who are free agents this upcoming offseason. So Kenny Clark became the highest paid nose tackle in the league with his extension during 2020. I remember putting out that video when I had like 100 subscribers. No one's really watching. I don't know. I just sort of remember that video. That's besides the point right now. His contract was structured to be extremely lean for the 2021 season, collecting only $2 million in cash with a $7 million cap hit. There is we'll skip that word, cap savings to be had there. Dean Lowry is vulnerable to a salary reduction or else being cut from the roster, creating $3.3 million in cap space. Yeah, and that's something I've seen from people as well. They think that he could be a guy who ends up being cut to, free up that very, very sacred cap space. The remaining defensive linemen are on their cheap rookie deals with no real cap savings to be had. Tyler Lancaster is a restricted free agent, but I don't see the Packers tendering him an offer. Perhaps he or free agent Montravius Adams come back on a veteran minimum deal. Defensive line must be a top need. Yeah, that's one thing I talked about in the Packers top 5 needs video. I think I had, interior D line. It was like 4th or 5th. But yeah, I feel like the Packers need to add some more depth there outside of Kenny Clark. So now to our linebackers. Personally, I would like to see the Packers come and draft an inside linebacker, as I sort of talked about. Will they do it? Maybe not, just because Kamal Martin and Chris Barnes have, pretty cheap deals, and maybe they can get by with them. But I would honestly like to see us bring in another linebacker. Why not? So we still have Christian Kirksey under contract. So here he says, the linebacker group is Christian Kirksey and a bunch of guys on their cheap rookie deals. Kirksey is another player who will likely be approached with taking a pay reduction or getting outright cut, saving $5.6 mil. So we can save $5.6 mil if we cut Christian Kirksey, or I guess let him go, whatever it is. Chris Barnes and Kamal Martin are the likely starters heading to 2021, but the depth behind them is bone dry. I don't expect premium draft capital to be used here, but a few new bodies will be needed to compete for back and roster spots. So that's some pretty good information on our linebackers. So now moving to the edge rusher. I think the biggest thing here, Preston Smith, most people feel like he's not going to return just because he hasn't been playing as good, and we can save a good amount of money, I'm pretty sure, from letting him go. So you can see Zadarius Smith has a second highest cap hit on the roster at $22 mil. I don't see Z being cut, but his contract can be restructured to free up $7 to $11 million. I guess that's some good news. Or perhaps even more if the Packers choose to extend his deal beyond the 2022 season. The other Smith brother, Preston, has a 5th highest cap hit of $16 mil in 2021 and does feel extremely vulnerable to a pay cut or release by the Packers, freeing up $8 million. So we can save $8 million by letting Preston Smith go. Rashawn Gary seems more than ready to fill the void of Preston Smith, but the remaining guys on the depth chart are cheap and unproven on the playing field. While not a top need, you can never have enough quality pass rushers, and I could see the Packers adding here in the draft. So yeah, it seems like Preston Smith may not be back. And so Rashawn Gary should be a beast. I feel like he'll take another step forward next season, just because, I feel like players, in the beginning of coming to the NFL, they seem to progress, just like Jair Alexander. Year 3 just blossoms into the star that he is. All right, now on to our cornerbacks. Cornerback, I would love to see the Packers pick a cornerback in the first round. That's my ideal personal, what I would like to see. Will it happen? Who knows? So, of course, you got Jair under contract, Kevin King going to be a free agent. Most people don't see him coming back. I don't see him coming back, but you never know. So here we go from Ken. The best way to describe this position group is cheap and thin. Jair Alexander is entering the 4th year of his rookie deal at $3.8 million. So the fact that he's playing so good on that rookie deal, definitely very beneficial to the Packers. While I have heard lots of discussion around the need to extend Jair this season, I think the Packers instead exercise their 5th-year option to extend his contract into 2022 and worry about an extension next season, similar to how they handled Kenny Clark's 5th year. So I guess they can do that extension stuff. Yeah, he just explained. You don't need to hear my thoughts on that. Kevin King likely does not return to the Packers after his final up and down season, but I won't fully rule out a 1-year prove-it deal if he doesn't land a big contract elsewhere, since the depth here is troubling. Chandon Sullivan is a restricted free agent. They may or may not like to see him back. Josh Jackson was a healthy scratch behind the disappointing King and Sullivan down the stretch last season and is questionable to return. Cornerback is the number 1 top need heading into 2021, and I would be shocked not to see a premium selection used here. Yeah, I feel like we agree on that. So, yeah, hopefully the Packers end up drafting a cornerback. I would love to see that. Now to our safeties. I feel like safety is one of our most stacked positions, Amos and Darnell Savage. So here we go. Adrian Amos is a pricey veteran of the group. 6th highest cap hit at $10 mil, basically. Similar to Zadarius, the Packers could restructure to allow basically creating $2.7 to $4.3 million cap space, or could extend his deal. All right. A cut of Amos would be a surprise to me, but would create $4.3 million. Okay, interesting. Savage and the rest of the depth here are on their cheap rookie deals. Raven Green is a restricted free agent who I don't think received a tender offer from the Packers, but could maybe be back on a minimum deal. Will Redmond is an unrestricted free agent who could also return on a cheap deal. The Packers will need to add to this existing premium. Whoa, I read that wrong. Sorry, I read wrong sometimes. The Packers will need to add to this existing position group either by bringing back some of their own guys or via the draft. So there we go. And I think this is the last position specialist. This is a pretty long video actually, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. I thought this article was pretty good. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. So now moving to the specialists. We got Mason Crosby, been here forever. All these guys are under contract still. I guess we have no special teams free agents. So Mason Crosby has been excellent, but his $2.5 million cap savings, if they move on, can't be fully ignored. J.K. Scott at punter has been the subject of a lot of criticism, but from a cap perspective, the savings from a potential departure is rather insignificant. All right, so I guess we can save money if we let Mason go, but I feel like no one would want to see that. It just feels like we've seen Mason Crosby for so many years. I just can't imagine him not being here. Obviously, at some point, his time with the Packers in the NFL will be no longer. But who knows? I don't feel like it'll be this year, but you never know. So that is the entire contract situation. Thank you guys for watching as always. If you guys have yet to subscribe, make sure you subscribe so you get the Packers news, Packers breakdowns, all that kind of stuff. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.